In this video, we will review the bones of the foot and ankle, including portions of the tibia and fibula, as well as the 7 tarsal bones, the 5 metatarsals, and the 14 phalanges. The proximal portions of the tibia and fibula have been described in a previous video on the knee. In this video, we will focus on those features most strongly associated with the ankle. By taking a separate model of the tibia and rotating it to see its posterior aspect, we can see this oblique ridge of bone here known as the soleal line. It serves as an important site of attachment for the soleus muscle. Returning to our intact model, we can see the large flared portions of bone here and here. This one, which is part of the tibia, is known as the medial malleolus, sometimes pronounced malleolus. This one, which is a part of the fibula, is known as the lateral malleolus. Although it's not shown on this model, the tibia and fibula would be connected in this region by a sheet of connective tissue known as the interosseous membrane. Moving to a closer view of the anterior ankle, we can see the distal tibia here, the medial malleolus located here, the lateral malleolus located here, and the talocrural joint here. This joint is formed by the medial malleolus, distal tibia, lateral malleolus, and this tarsal bone known as the talus. Off to the side, we have a separate model showing the distal tibia here and medial malleolus here. And we can rotate that model to see the concave joint surface. Next, we will remove the tibia and the fibula to get a better view at the tarsal bones. This most superior bone we've already seen. This is the talus, sometimes pronounced talus. This portion is its body, the superior aspect of which is rounded and dome-shaped. This tapered portion here is its neck, and this most anterior portion is known as the head. Inferior to and posterior to the talus is the large calcaneus, sometimes referred to as the heel bone. Anterior to the calcaneus is the blocky cuboid bone. Anterior to the head of the talus is the boat-shaped navicular bone. Finally, we have 3 wedge-shaped bones here, known as the cuneiform. This one is referred to as the first cuneiform or medial cuneiform. This one may be referred to as the second or the intermediate cuneiform, while this one may be referred to as the third or lateral cuneiform. Switching to a medial view, we will once again orient ourselves by finding the body, neck, and head of the talus. This view better allows us to appreciate the dome shape of the superior surface of the talar body. Moving next to the calcaneus, located here, we can see its roughened posterior surface known as the calcaneal tuberosity. And we can see this shelf of bone located under the talus, which is known as the sustentaculum tali. Moving anteriorly from the head of the talus, we find the navicular bone, with its prominent navicular tuberosity located medially at the high point of the medial longitudinal arch. Moving anteriorly once again, we find the first, also known as the medial cuneiform bone. This lateral view also allows us to visualize the talus and the calcaneus. The joint between the two is known as the subtalar joint. Here, this prominent bump on the lateral calcaneus is known as the fibular trochlea. Moving anteriorly, we can see the cuboid bone, the lateral cuneiform, the intermediate cuneiform, and a portion of the navicular bone. For completeness, we'll also take a look at a plantar view of the foot. Here we see the undersurface of the calcaneus and the talus. This is the sustentaculum tali. Here is the calcaneal tuberosity with its medial process located here and its lateral process here. This again is the undersurface of the talus with a navicular just anterior to it. This again is the calcaneus with a cuboid located just anterior to it. This groove in the cuboid houses the tendon of the fibularis longus muscle. Here we see the cuneiforms, first, second, and third, or medial, intermediate, and lateral. Returning to a superior or dorsal view of the foot, we'll next look at the metatarsal bones. They are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, starting from the medial side of the foot. The fifth metatarsal bears a prominent tuberosity. The metatarsals articulate with the next set of bones, the phalanges, here at the metatarsal phalangeal joints. Underneath the first metatarsal phalangeal joints, there are also two small bones known as sesamoid bones. Finally, we'll conclude with a look at the phalanges. The first digit, also known as the great toe, contains only two phalanges, a proximal phalange and a distal phalange. The joint in between them is known as the interphalangeal joint. The other four digits each contain three phalanges, a proximal, a middle or intermediate, and a distal. The joints between these segments are known as the proximal interphalangeal joints and the distal interphalangeal joints.